But that's just surface.
That's the surface.
Too, right?
That's the
I've
surface.
noticed this lately a lot in myself, if I could share, that there's an immediate judgment that's it seems faster than any thought process. When things are not on an even keel, I want things to seem like they're on an even keel.
That's right.
And it just happens so fast.
It's fast.
It's incredibly fast.
It's fast because the human is the conditioned process, and it's reactive, and our nervous system is built on the human. You see? So everything, our whole nervous system, our whole reaction, our whole emotional body is a response of the human automatically. All emotions are human. What is an emotion? You see, the moment we feel an emotion, we are so caught in it that it determines our whole action, our whole behavior pattern, our whole thinking process. But look at it realistically. Look at it. Take a moment and just look at what it is. And you find it's a thought, a belief that you have adopted to be real. And it becomes so much a part of you that your very cellular, the very cells of the body, the memory part, the DNA, are that.
So just given the space to look.
Just given space to look. But the human doesn't want to do that.
No.
You see? And that's what we have to understand first. You might say, but if the human doesn't want to do that, how are we going to get to being? You don't get to being. The being is always there. So what you do is see that the human nature always resists. Now when you find that it always resists, can you control it? No. Can you do anything about it? No. So what do you see then? That you are helpless against it. The moment you become aware that you're helpless, you move to being. Are you understanding me?
Is it because you're releasing? You're just letting go?
You don't even releasing, you're not even letting go. You see that you're helpless to do anything about it. You don't plan to get depressed, but you can get depressed just like that, right? You can get angry just like that. You're helpless against it. Once you're in it, you're helpless to control it. The human cannot do anything. Become aware that you're helpless and it's okay. The moment you really mean it, you move into being. You see? That is the beautiful thing. Because you see, if we understand the being, this is what's so beautiful. You are already a being. You're not going to be a being. What is the being? If we were to define being, which of course is impossible, we can say the being is forgiveness, the being is acceptance, the being is allowing, the being is love, the being is giving. You see? The being is letting go, the being is peace, the being is joy. And then we think that these things are qualities. They are not qualities, they are the being. The moment you be, you are these things automatically. You see? But you see that the human tries to let go. When you were depressed, angry, ready to commit suicide, desperate, and somebody said let go, were you able to do it? Be honest, no. You can't let go. You see, because letting go is the being, and you're resisting the being. You see, you cannot help but resist the being, because you're working from the premise of being human. However, and this is the essential part, the humility comes back. You're helpless to do anything about it. I just am, and it's all right. The moment you do that, you move into being. Now you begin to see a slow shift happening. You see? You don't accept. You don't acknowledge. You don't forgive. Like when I was teaching the Course in Miracles years ago, and I used to have clients, I used to say, you know, it's important to forgive. But I never really explained it, you know. So they came back, well, I tried to forgive blah, blah, blah for doing this to me. And it didn't work. And then I explained to them, forgiveness doesn't mean you're going to forgive. It means to look into what actually happened, to see what happened, to the point where you see that it was the clash of both egos that created this kerfuffle, this conundrum, this incredible problem. And when you begin to see this, you also realize at some point that there's nothing really to forgive. It happened because he was in that state of consciousness, you were in that state of receptive consciousness. You know, a controller always finds a victim. You know, sometimes people get married that way. You know, a controller, an abuser always gets attracted to a victim. You know, because we always get what we need to learn. You know, that's the amazing thing about life. It is so beautiful and so perfect. So naturally we always get what we need. And so when you begin to see that there's nothing to forgive, all it takes is 1 second. There's nothing to forgive. That's forgiveness. Of course, the miracles also made that very clear. You accept when you realize there's nothing to accept. You see? We see so many things about us, you know, low class, high class. This is very much in India, the untouchables. Also was in England a lot, you know, aristocracy, the poorer classes, the higher classes. We don't have much of that in North America, thank goodness. But there are many class distinctions, black and white and, you know, and all colors. But a person who's relaxed and happy and they forget themselves, they totally accept. But what does it mean to totally accept? It means you don't see a need to accept anything. It is what it is. We are all human beings. You see how simple it is? You're seeing what is as it is. You see? And when you see what is as it is, there's nothing to accept, there's nothing to forgive, there's nothing to let go of, there's nothing even to understand. There's only to see. And that seeing brings a transformation. Because now you've gone deeper than the surface. You've gone deeper than the facade, the veneer, the put-on show, the mask that most people put on. You see? In other words, you're seeing things as they are. Okay? But to see things as they are, something else begins to happen when you see things as they are. Your ego begins to die. Because you cannot keep believing in your prejudice, in your bigotry, because we've all been raised up one way or another. Let's face it, we all have had some prejudice against this or that. When you begin to see this, immediately you become humble. Because this very seeing of your prejudice, this very seeing of your humanity, brings you to humbleness. That very humbleness is a transformer and moves you back to being.
So the ego, that always fascinates me, being a human, isn't the ego always going to be there, but the difference is when you see it, you can just step out of it much quicker?
No. The ego is not really there at all. It's an appearance. Okay?
Isn't human,
But-
though, just being human, an ego?
Yeah. Where is the human?
Oh, God, we're doing that again.
Yeah. You see, we took it for granted there is a human. It is an appearance of our being. And we call it human. But thank you. You raise beautiful questions. Okay?
Confused.
No, you're not confused.
Honest.
No, you think you are, but keep looking. Keep deeper. Confusion means, you know, you're battling between what is real and not real. You're seeing two opposing forces and you're confused what to see, what not to see. There's nothing really to see. Allow yourself right now, just look directly. Just look directly. Okay? Now tell me what you see. Really, the seeing. Tell me what you see. Well, let's talk about physical. Okay, let's talk about physically first.
Physical seeing, I see this room, I see everything, everybody in it.
And the people and everything, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Stay with that now. Now move a little deeper. Who is it that is seeing? The physical, the appearance.
My being.
Your being. You know that for a fact.
Well, something.
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 Okay.
Invisible.
Something invisible is seeing. That's very, very good. The one who is seeing right now, the one who's experiencing, is there. It is. We call it being, you see?